say, how are y'all doing today? How are y'all doing today? Y'all already know I am your host, Lacey G. Souldier Turner. And today I have a very special guest with me, real estate broker at Evergreen Resimercial Realty, LLC, publisher, president at Who's Diversity and Color, and much, much more. We got the wonderful, amazing, talented Ericca Willis. Welcome to the platform.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
You are most welcome. So, my first question to you before we get into anything: where were you born and raised, and how was your upbringing as a child?
So I'm a little different in this sense. I was actually born here in St. Louis,
Mm.
and my parents were young. At least my mom was. So I had the grandma upbringing over in East St. Louis. So I have ties over there, as well as, I did attend some schools here in St. Louis, Berkeley Junior and Senior High. And then my parents moved us out to California, where I actually graduated from high school. So I finished my growing up in California.
So you went to the beautiful trees and all, and the sun and the beaches.
The sun and beaches. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Just left us.
Yep. Left St. Louis like a hot potato. But, again, I was a teenager, so I didn't really have a choice.
I got you. Yeah, I got you. So what made you get into real estate?
So being out in California, two of the things that I'm doing here, I literally got an opening in California. So even the magazine, I worked for a magazine owner, Pat Means. She owned Turning Point, which was a magazine all about the dealings in LA. So she worked in, one of those office buildings where, it was, a bunch of different companies inside this one building. And so in between working for her, I met this real estate broker, Roberta, and she introduced me to real estate, both on the mortgage lending side as well as the real estate side. And so with her, I went about, I went to school to take the test and get my license. So I actually practiced for a minute in California until I moved to St. Louis, Missouri in 1998. And then I took a break. But real estate was always a first love. I mean, when I met it, I just fell in love. I loved everything about it. I really did. And so, I'm a pretty decent writer. So, working for the magazine as well as doing real estate, it was a dream living in sunny California for a minute, until, of course, I met my husband and moved here and changed my life over. So. That was the beginning.
Okay. So can you tell me about Evergreen Resimercial Realty? How did it start? How did you become a part? Where did the name come from?
So, so I, back in 2014, I officially, decided that, hey, I definitely wanted to get back into real estate. I missed it. I had been working for the Mayor Slay at the time, and the politics was it was just smothering me. And I needed a mental break from all of that. So 2014, I took the test here in Missouri because it's not reciprocal, and I had been out of it for a minute. So passed on the first try, and worked for a company for a couple of years, and then switched to another company. And then 2020 came and the pandemic hit. And I said, you know what? I am done with working for anybody else. I can do this. I know how to do this. And I think my way is a little bit better. So I literally took that time, studied for the broker's exam, and again, passed on the first try. And lo and behold, February 2021, Evergreen Resimercial was born. Now, as far as the name goes, we wanted to come up with, and I really have to give some credit to my husband, Keith Antone, who kind of helped me brainstorm the name, because we wanted it. Evergreen is always green, right? It doesn't matter what time of the year. It stands strong, they stand tall, and their little pines, are there and beautiful. And so we wanted to choose Evergreen because we would always be there for our clients through thick and thin. When the waters get rough, we're not going to abandon you. And even if we can't do it now, we're going to figure out a strategy to get you healthy and then come back to us so that we can help you achieve your dream of owning either your own home, your business, building, whatever that looks like. And so Resimercial, we knew that I wanted to concentrate on both the residential as well as the commercial market, because I have been in business so much that really commercial real estate is more or less really about putting the right deal together for both parties. And so that is really where one of my strengths lies. And so we wanted to have a name that reflected all that we did, and residential and commercial, Resimercial.
I like that. So it seems like you great at taking tests. So if I need to pass a test, all I got to do is come to Ericca. All right, I got you.
No, all you have to do is just study real hard.
That's right. Studying is the key, y'all.
It's the key. Close out everything else and focus.
Focus. That's right. So, like you said, you were studying and doing everything. So did the pandemic have a positive or negative effect on you still, period, even after that? Because I know we just getting over it for real, they say last year. So did it have a positive or negative impact?
Well, the pandemic will always leave a stain on my memory, because unfortunately my mom was who was dealing with dementia and Alzheimer's, was in a nursing home at the time. And if you remember those stories, it was always my sister and I's fear that that disease would hit the nursing home. And it did. And we got a call on a Tuesday on May 15th, was a Tuesday in 2020, that my mom had contracted COVID. And by Friday, our mom was gone. So it's always going to be an indelible stain from the pandemic. And then 3 days later, we lost our dad. So 2020 was rough.
Wow.
I officially became an orphan in 2020, a grown orphan, but an orphan.
Wow, that is crazy. Yeah, a lot of people lost their lives and everything. I know that was just a scary thing.
But it also fed me. Because that was a tough pill to swallow, and God got us through it. I have to give glory and honor to Him, because that was tough. But but also, like I said, it made me more determined than ever to craft my life. And so studying for that test, for me, failure was not an option. I didn't want to go, and that test is horrible. So if you ever are thinking about it, focus. So you don't have to take it another time. I feel for people who have to take it multiple times, because that is not a fun test. And you get different versions every time. So it's not like you can go back and take the same version and, okay, I know where I messed up or where I stopped studying and I can kick in. No, it does not work like that. So, yeah.
Okay. So can you tell me about the African American home ownership levels?
Yeah, it is. It's shameful in America that African American home ownership really has not moved since 1947. You know, we're still very low, with something like 43% or something like that. I mean, it's crazy low. And we literally have not moved the needle. So for all of our Black entertainers and celebrities, and people in corporate America, and our doctors and our attorneys, the majority of us have still been left in the dust when you talk about African American home ownership. You ask why, how could that be? We still are suffering from lack of knowledge, about the industry. Buying a home is going to be one of the biggest purchase and one of the most important purchases in our life. And unfortunately for us in America, they'll give us a car that will take our debt to income ratio way over the limit of, say, 40% or whatever. But, getting a home, they hold that true and dear because it's ownership of land. And, our people just simply do not understand the workings of credit and how important that is to our lives, and, the importance of saving, and I get it to a certain extent because, we have many more issues to deal with than our white counterparts. Making it paycheck to paycheck or day to day is a real life struggle. So when you have people, to come online to say, hey, I can help you do this, and, you can have this in X amount of days. Well, they're not counting into effect that, the light bill is due and we don't know where that money is coming from. The kids are getting ready to go back to school. And yeah, I would like to move out of this 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom home where there's 5 or 6 of us. But, I got to get these kids the necessary, things that they're going to need for school, shoes, clothes, even, uniforms, which I am glad that most schools have pivoted to that. But nevertheless, everything costs. Nothing is for free, right? So, they are just trying to grapple with literally trying to make it from, Friday to Sunday every week. And so, to ask that person, about saving and credit and whatever, and it's like, God forbid a doctor's bill comes up, and I'm so thankful for the lenders, because now lenders do not put weight on medical bills. Because I'm going to tell you, if it's a choice between me taking care of my household in any capacity and a medical bill, guess who's gonna get taken care of? My household, bar none. And I think that's a cultural thing. I really, because Black people, we wouldn't give a darn about a medical bill when we have personal needs or our kids have needs. It's like, yeah, whatever. However you want, whatever you want to do it. So lenders, right? You know what I'm saying? Do what you do. But I can tell you what, you won't be getting a dime as long as Ameren and or Spire and or that refrigerator is needing something. So yeah, so because of all of those real life factors, it's not impossible, but it makes it very, very different. So what we try to do here at Evergreen Resimercial is that we have hosted a series of home buying seminars. We try to get one out at least once a month in various municipalities. We try to work with the mayors to actually set up a time, allow them to let their people know that they are providing the service for them. It is absolutely positively a no sales whatsoever. What we want to do first and foremost is educate our people. I don't know if you know, but there is, even though the interest rates are rising, which means, the higher the interest rate, the less of a home you can purchase. But we do have money on the street. Lenders like Guild Mortgage, lenders like Carrollton Bank, they actually have programs, beyond housing. They have programs that you can actually get free money. And I do say free money that you do not have to pay back, in upwards of $5,000. Most of the programs, they will give up to six. So you could potentially be working with a lender, as well as going to get educated about the home buying process and get up to $12,000, toward the purchase of a home. Well, for some, that could cover your down payment and closing costs, right? Yeah. So, whereas you would never be able to see that. I found out recently that people on Section 8 can actually purchase a home. Now, I have mixed feelings about that, as many other working people do, but I get it. If you're in that situation where you have young children, and you're getting governmental assistance, and they can actually help you get into a home, that is beautiful. It just kind of hurts with us, some of us out here just slaving. I won't say slaving, but working really, really hard. Working really, really hard, and hitting brick walls every time they turn around, because they're trying to, get into a space, for their families. But, like I said, these real life issues. But, these are some of the best kept secrets. I don't know whether that's intentional or what, but I just do know that people aren't out there. Us as a people, we don't automatically think own. We are like, okay, where can I rent? I literally got a client. She called and she was like, well, hey, my friends, and that's a story for another day, G-Show Soldier. Why we play the crab in a barrel of telling people what they can and cannot do, and why we listen to somebody that couldn't give you any money anyway is beyond me. Crazy. But she literally thought that, oh, okay, well, I have to rent. I said, well, have you ever considered buying? And she was like, well, I didn't think that I could. Credit score was fine. But she had been told these things, so she set it in her mind that buying a house is too much. Now she's on her way to possibly buying her second home. So, we have to get in the informational mode and not taking what somebody else says as gold and then doing without.
Yeah, we always do that as a people.
Yes, we do. And I don't understand why. I don't. We have to break out that mode.
Facts. So let me, that's a great transition. What are your thoughts on the do-it-yourself real estate market?
So you have a lot of individuals out here who are now, they have turned this into companies where they get people to invest in them, and they tell them, hey, go out and acquire these properties and we'll give you money and whatnot. Or, you have your individuals who, well, I bought a house, so I can do this, and the danger in that is you don't know what you don't know. And if something goes awry, and we live in a very litigious society, people like to sue like we like to eat an apple, you know what I'm saying? So that, hey, I didn't know this. I didn't know that I couldn't do this. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to do this. That won't fly. So you will end up in a situation where, you're going to have to you're going to have to lawyer up, and you may or may not win your case, because you didn't perform, or you didn't know you couldn't walk away. You know what I'm saying? Or you didn't provide the necessary notification. I mean, there's just so many pitfalls out there. And, and then for people working with these companies, make sure you're reading those documents to make sure that if something does go wrong, that they are taking the brunt. I mean, they're quick to give you the money, but if something goes wrong and they have to, put out a legal team, are you on your own? Are you protected? So for us, we have to do things like errors and omissions, to make sure as a broker that the brokerage is taken care of. So, it's things like that could really put you in a bad space. And so doing it yourself, and, people think our industry is the easiest industry that they can jump into until they get in trouble. Then it's like, oh, I have a friend who, they were out here trying to do it themselves. What can they do in this situation? You see what I'm saying? So, and it's up to that realtor or broker that you talk to, because I know if I don't know you, I'm not going to walk you through, because that could backfire on me and you could pull me into your madness. So, it's a minefield that they're playing with out there. And so what I would say to that is get a professional. You wouldn't go to a doctor who said, well, I performed the surgery on my leg and I didn't die and I sewed myself up. So I feel like I'm qualified to operate on you, right? You wouldn't go to a guy who somebody was suing you and you say, well, hey, I like to watch legal shows, so I think I could do this, right? Yeah. So we as realtors, we do go to school. We do have to go to school. We are taught as to how to not end up in court, as well as how to protect our clients. So trust it's fine if you interview the person. Everybody's not going to like everybody. So you can find somebody that you can jail, but definitely somebody that that you feel confident that they could do the job, and use a professional is my point.
So basically education is the key up in this.
Yes, it is. In everything we do.
Okay. So let me ask you this. What are your thoughts? Because I see a lot of, real estate people doing this. What are your thoughts on wholesaling?
Again, even as an agent, I am very cautious about wholesaling. Excuse me. For me, investors, their strategy can change overnight. So you could have a list of investors and they're on a whole nother trend and could tell you, well, I don't know, I'm not doing that kind of property anymore. I'm focused on this. And so now that you've gone to this homeowner A, and you're saying, hey, I'm doing this personally, not even through my brokerage, but I want to buy your house personally. You're now on the hook to find that investor that can help, so you can do that double closing. Now, if it works, and I do know agents and brokers out here that do it, and it has worked well for them, but it's, it could work well until it doesn't. I'll say that. It can work well until it doesn't. So I think wholesaling is another stream of income. And with that comes inherent risk, just like anything else. And you just need to be prepared and know what you're going into. Because again, I will say, you cannot have a defense of, I didn't know what I didn't know.
Exactly. I see that she dropping knowledge and jewels. Make sure y'all listen. So I see that you're the publisher and president of Who's Diversity and Color. Can you tell people about that?
Well, we still do have those, that company, but we're really, the world has shifted. And so we are trying to organically figure that out, how we go forward with that. Because here's what we do know, especially with all the so-called anti-woke people. We do understand how important that publication still is today, because we need people to understand that all of us contribute. Right now in Florida is having a real hard time. Their tourism, I understand, has dropped. Simply one of the main reasons, one, they have a crazy governor, but two, they also, have some serious workforce issues down there. And so why America in general does not understand that racism hurts, it does not help. And you being a white person trying to eliminate, one, this was not your land. So maybe if we could teach history the right way, they would understand that, okay, this is even our land that we're pushing for, because just because you got it by ill-gotten gains, by, killing people and, pouring water over towns and creating lakes or parks as if, we didn't exist. That does not work. We are all in this together. We are, climate change, for instance. That is not, oh, well, only white people are doing that. Only Black people are doing that. Only Hispanic, only Asian. That is crazy. We are people. We are a human race. And we're either going to make it together or we're not. Point blank. So I just we have to keep that out in the forefront. But again, we're just working on our strategy on really rolling that out and how that looks. Because we keep hearing rumblings of another possible pandemic.
I heard that pandemic. That's right.
Yeah. That's right.
Overpopulation. They're trying to get rid of us. But go ahead.
Well, that didn't work. That didn't work. But I guess it's always a ploy and a plan that's always available. But God reigns over all. So nobody's going anywhere unless He says so. So I wish those people would just focus on their lane of trying to help this planet. This planet needs help. You know what I'm saying? That's what you should be focusing on, not the people and what they're doing, because that's not going to help anything. And like, I firmly believe, like my grandmother and my elders always told me, when you dig a grave, dig two, one for yourself.
Real talk. Yeah, I heard that is his story.
His story. Yes.
That's right. Hey, so let me ask you this. So you've been in the real estate market for a while, not doing your thing. What has been your greatest challenge?
I would say getting my people educated is still, and it's going to always remain a challenge until I go to a conference or hear on a webinar that, for the first time in history, African Americans or, the home rates have risen and we're now at 60 to 80%. That's when I will feel like, okay, I've truly made a difference. But until then, the challenge is educating us. There's still so much we do not know. It really is. And it just becomes so daunting because I think the situation is changing. I see it with the young people, I'll say, where they are not taking the road of, hey, I got mine, you go get yours. To me, I felt like it was like that in the 80s and the 90s. Now, I think as a community, we understand that, the rising tide raises all boats. So we have to all support one another, all help each other. And this myth of, I can't tell you anything because you may get a leg up,
Crazy.
We can't do that because we've been programmed that, the pie is limited. So you better not share. You better not do this. You better not do that. Well, if you follow me on Facebook, we put out there everything that we do. Hey, do you? If I'm doing something that you see is working for me and you want to, hey, it's great. I noticed that we have really been making an issue out of being a 5-star firm because we are. Our clients give us 5-star ratings. And so now I see everybody 5-star this. Awesome. Wonderful. I love it. Right. Yeah. Whatever we can do to help our industry as a whole, and be kind and be educating to our community and others, I think is an awesome way to go. And that is still the biggest challenge, but it's one that I'm up for the fight.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. So, what would you say has been your greatest accomplishment then?
Um, to this point, I don't, I will say this, that there's nothing else in my career that gives me more joy than when I have helped a business and or a person sell their home or find that even temporary or forever home that they are just wanting to buy. That continues to give me unmeasurable joy. Um, I guess I would have to leave it there, because that is, when you meet with that person and they tell you that they're leveling up. So they started out with a starter home and now they want a bigger home, or they're downsizing, but because all the kids are gone, but they want this great space for themselves, or, somebody in business that calls me up, hey, I've been renting and now I'm ready to buy. I'm ready to step into it. I mean, that's my jam. That's what gives me life and makes me wake up in the morning and say, thank you, Lord. Just thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be that person that they call to assist them, and just all others. It doesn't, I have a very diverse clientele and I love that, because I'm about the people first and foremost. I honestly, with all the racism in the world, I can honestly say I love my community, my African American community, and I'm always going to have a special place for us as a people. And I'm always going to do things to make sure that we're educated and that we can climb up that ladder, but I do love to help all people. And that's what I'm about. And I think my upbringing in California really kind of sealed that deal for me. And I'm so thankful, because I just can't get bogged down in race. I can't.
Okay. So let me ask you this. What advice would you give to someone who wants to get into real estate, or who wants to buy a house and people's, trying to talk them down, saying it's just a liability, you shouldn't do that? What is your advice to these people?
So, okay, so that's double. Okay, so let's go to the home buyer. For those home buyers that are sitting on the fence talking about the interest rates and whatnot, and because that's where people are now, oh, the interest rate's too high. Don't buy now, don't do this. Well, you could literally hurt yourself further if you're sitting out not getting a house because you're waiting on the interest rates to lower. So you're without a house because, there was a time where interest rates were up to 9 and 10%. And so do you take that gamble? Don't listen to anybody else. Call a professional. If you want to start with a realtor, because that's we're going to take you through and even work you through with the lender. So start with someone in my field, but talk to a professional and keep sister, mom, dad out of that. They mean well. I get that. Really do, but it makes me want to scream when I hear, well, my sister said, or my mom said. It's like, oh, okay, so are they in real estate? Oh no, she works for Schnooks. Literally, I had
the test.
I actually had that happen. It's like, now your sister, no disrespect, is a manager at Schnooks. Now, I don't go to her job and tell her, well, I don't think that ketchup should be on that shelf. I think you should put it on aisle, because I like to walk on aisle 6. So I think you should rearrange all of that. I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Stay in your lane, because you could really, I know they do it out of love, but it actually end up hurting that buyer, especially if that's the one, because you'd be surprised how many people listen to their family members versus, now I'm okay if something is said and you want to get a second opinion about something or whatever, but talk to another professional. That's all I'm saying. Because if mom, dad, sister, brother, boyfriend, have not gone to school, don't. And I gotta say this. Do not, and this is for the single women. I have to say this. So you may get hate mail. Sisters, he may be laying it down like you want him to. You may love him, all of that. But if he can't get approved to buy pencils, don't allow him to make the decision about your house. Even if you buying it for both of y'all, you have done the right thing. You have taken responsibility. You have to make that decision. Now, that doesn't mean that down the line that you could work with him on his credit if he even wants to get it together, because he may just want to just use you. I tell you.
We're going to get the hate mail.
But I'm sorry, it happens. I've seen it. I've experienced it. And I've even seen women lose the opportunity of owning a home because he needed some things and you matched your credit card out. And I bet within a couple of months, he probably went on to the next. That's just how that happens. So if you've been taking care of your credit, doing what you need to do for your credit, and you have decided to buy a home, please listen to the professional, not your thing. Listen to the professional, not that second head, not that. It's good for many things, but not that.
Listen. Yeah, I see her.
Now, you asked me for something else. I know I went off on the tangent.
I got you. Well, look, she's dropping them jewels on. Yeah, she dropped the knowledge. The truth hurts sometimes. So
it does.
Don't look at it as hate. Look at it as the truth. Look within.
It is, because it's all out of love. It's all out of, and I get it. The world opens up to Black women right now, more so than our Black men. So I get it. And I'm not denigrating our Black men. I love our Black men. And we should take care of our Black men. That is not what I'm saying. So I'm not going to allow anybody to twist my words. What I am saying is that brother, if he is not prepared, you got two options. Y'all can wait until he gets prepared, or if it's a necessity for y'all to go ahead and buy now, you have to take that lead, whichever one is the credit. And I'm speaking my same situation. It has been times when my husband's credit was better than mine. He took the lead. Now, he took my advice because back then he wasn't in real estate, right? And it's been times that I've had to take the lead. So that could be a give and take. So, however y'all march is great, but come on now. Come on. And I'm only talking really for marriages, because if y'all not married, then don't nobody get to say so. Put a ring on it. Okay? Put a ring on it.
Look, yeah, we over here getting into deepness. But yeah, the other question was about people wanting to become
Yes. So what my advice to them would be, now there are several companies out there. I personally utilize the career educational systems. I swear by them, because they literally, the key to passing the real estate exam, is that you have to be taught how to take the test. It is not, even if you know of someone that is close to you, that that they're a realtor, you've heard their conversation, so you're thinking, okay, I got this, I know how to work this, that can actually get you jammed up, because you're thinking about the practical portion of the career, and that will hurt. Tune out everything out your mind, anything that you've learned, anything, and focus on what they're teaching you and get over that test. Now, that test, the class, I think it's like a week and a half. If need be, If you can, and not everybody can, but if you can, do nothing else but focus on that class until you take that test. If you can. If you cannot, take the class. If online, you have to do it online because you got to work during the day. Study no less than 4 hours a night. In the morning before you go to your job, get some studying in. So that means dedication. You got to get up out of that bed, loose those sheets, get in, study, then go do your day of work, come back and do it all over again. And if you do this and then take the test right afterwards, 9 times out of 10 you can pass. But look, don't smoke no weed,
This is
leave drinking alone, for a week and a half. That's all I'm saying. Give yourself,
what about sex?
well, I mean, that might help clear the brain. you know, Look, and then you need to sleep well. So that'll help you sleep so that you can get up with a clear mind and think. Because you don't want to be horny, and you got to be focused. You got to stay focused.
Yeah.
Focused.
Okay.
But no, seriously, right after you take that class, take the test. Do not linger. Do not linger, because every day that you do not take that test, you're losing that content. You're losing how they taught you how to think, and just a little cheat. On that test, they're always going to give like several answers that all seem right, but it's always that one word that turns it to make it right. And you just have to study and figure out what that one word is. And I guarantee you, the test is difficult. I'm not going to not say that, but if you study yourself like crazy, you can do it. And like I said, you take a week and a half out your life and then celebrate the rest. Smoke all the weed, drink, and have sex, do whatever it is that you do. You'll be happy with yourself. And then I want you to kick all that to the curb and allow a really good broker that you're going to then work for teach you about the practical ways and how to really get through with that. And then also fast forward, you also want to make sure that you're constantly educating yourself, because our industry is always changing. It is always adding something to it. So you got to stay with the time. And then lastly, if you're a person of color, I highly recommend that you check out NAREB. That is the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. That is the oldest African-American organization in this country. It was formed back in 1947 under all of the Jim Crow laws. And when we couldn't service our people, so we did what we always do. We created our own. And now we are still strong. When I go to conferences of NAREB, and we have them all across the country, and it's almost like being at a Wakanda place, literally. It is so refreshing to see so many people that look like me doing the doggone thing. And I mean, they doing it big. And I love it. And I'm here for it. So that would be my advice. Get a mentor. Keep a mentor, and constantly educate yourself. When you don't want to educate yourself anymore, you need to just go ahead, retire, collect whatever money and check that you have, sit there and let the tube just drain your brain at that point. But this is an industry that you want to stay educated in.
Okay. So let me ask you this. So I was saying, are you familiar with the company here, HERE?
I am not.
Okay, so I want to ask you. So what they do is they have people invest in rental properties across, the United States or whatever, and once they, I guess, purchase it or whatever, they, do the maintenance fees, and then you get residuals each month. Then after, I think, 7 years, they sell the property, and then give each owner the, I guess, money or whatever. What do you think about that? Those things.
It really depends on what you want. If that works for you, then great. I am just always of that person which is why I became a broker. I want to make my own, and I want to keep it. And if I sell it, I want all the proceeds. That's just me. But there are investment groups. Now if it was, big apartment complexes, of course you got to put down big money and you get big returns. So it's really all about how you do it. Look, the one thing about real estate that I love is that there are so many ways to make money in this industry. You could focus on just foreclosures. You could focus on just short sales. You could focus on just wholesaling. You can focus on whatever it is you want to, whatever floats your boat, wherever your strength lies. You could just do investing and just pick a person that is out there doing it. And it's like, okay, here, I'm going to give you some money and you just go ahead and you guys decide upon a return and allow them to go and do it. And you keep doing what your skill level is. So it literally does not matter. What does matter is that you make sure that you're working with reputable companies and reputable people, and make sure that, where you're giving your money, you're not going to go to the door and they're out of business and you don't know where they are. So that is the biggest thing. Do your research on people that you're doing business with. That's even for new agents. Do your research on these companies that are out here, and then take your time to interview individuals, whomever you're going to be working with. Find out what their strategy and their goals are to make sure that they are aligning with yours and that you guys think a certain way, because you don't want to join a company that's out here scamming old people out of their homes. That's happening. People are literally going and acquiring people's properties illegally and then turn around selling them and make a profit. To me, that's equivalent to blood money. I couldn't displace the elderly or anybody illegally. I don't want to make my money where I'm looking across my shoulder. Hell, if that was the case, could get in the drug game.
Right.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yes.
So I never want to do anything that's going to hurt someone else in order to make me wealthy. That's my motto. But however you choose, just educate yourself on how they get down, how they roll, if it aligns with your values and your morals, and then go make that money and enjoy doing so.
Right. Okay. So do you have anything coming up that you want to promote, or anything that you have going on?
I would say, I would invite people to really check out our Facebook page. Like I said, we put everything out there. So if we're giving some kind of seminar or some kind of educational system in any municipality in the metropolitan area, we keep that up. If you're looking for a home, that's always out there. So, and like I said, we're all about education. So yeah, just go to our Facebook page, either at Evergreen Resimercial Realty or Ericca's Real Estate, where we make your dreams come true page. So any of those pages, you're going to stay abreast on what we're doing and where we're going to be. And I invite you, please give me a call. I am always up for a conversation. If you have a question that, you heard somebody say and it just doesn't sound right, I get that. I get that. So I'm here.
Okay. So my last question that I love to ask all my guests: when it is all said and done and you are long gone from this earth, what is it that you want the people to know about Ericca Willis?
That is a great question. I love that. I want people to be able to say that she loved helping people. She would help anybody that she could. That she was open and loving, and that I was a good person. And I tried to make a positive impact in every life that I touch. My motto is I always want to leave you better than when I met you.
I like that.
I do.
That's real. All right, Miss Ericca, I want to appreciate you. Thank you for coming on the platform. You dropped a lot of jewels, a lot of knowledge, and I just appreciate your success and everything that you are doing in St. Louis.
Well, thank you, G Souldier. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on, and anytime.
All right, no problem. I'll let you know when we drop this article.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, have a good day.
Okay, you too.